हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू अभिषेक एजुकेशनल सर्विसेज। आज की वीडियो में हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के साथ रिलेटेड सारे करंट अफेयर्स जो आपको यूपीएससी प्रीलिम्स के लिए चाहिए। अगर आप लेटेस्ट ट्रेंड्स देखेंगे तो बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के अंदर आपको टर्मिनोलॉजी, उसके साथ रिलेटेड इंस्टीट्यूशंस, गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स और करंट अफेयर्स, ये चारों चीजें चाहिए। तो इन चारों को हम आज की वीडियो के अंदर कवर करेंगे। द डॉक्यूमेंट दैट आई विल बी यूजिंग इन टुडेस वीडियो, उसका लिंक आपको डिस्क्रिप्शन में मिल जाएगा, सो आप वहां से उसको ले सकते हैं। चलिए, लेट्स बिगिन फॉर दी टुडेस वीडियो डिस्कशन। So, as far as biotechnology is concerned, the first current affair that we are dealing with is the herbicide tolerant BT technology. आपको याद होगा, BT technology is related to cotton crop, and in India, BT cotton is the only transgenic crop which has been approved by Center for Commercial Cultivation. BT here stands for Bacillus thuringiensis. आप सबने ये बेसिक्स में पढ़ रखा है, and it produces a particular kind of toxin called as Cry1AC toxin, which is essentially acidic in nature, and the gut flora of cotton bollworm, which is basic in nature, उसके साथ interact करके it basically kills it. अब जो नेक्स्ट वेराइटी है दैट इज हर्बिसाइड टॉलरेंट बीटी कॉटन, इंडिया में अभी भी ये अप्रूव्ड नहीं है। आपको याद होगा, देयर इज अ जेनेटिक इंजीनियरिंग अप्रेजल्स कमिटी which has the onus of approving all the genetically modified crops, बट फिर भी इसकी इलीगल सेल्स चल रही है, एंड इट हैज इनफैक्ट जंप्ड टू ऑलमोस्ट डबल एज फार एज लास्ट ईयर इज कंसर्न। अब ये जो हर्बिसाइड टॉलरेंट है, बेसिकली द कॉटन वेराइटी इन एचटीबीटी कॉटन हैज बीन मेड टॉलरेंट टू ए पर्टिकुलर हर्बिसाइड दैट इज ग्लाइफोसेट। सो बेसिकली आपका जो बीटी कॉटन है वो तो ग्लाइफोसेट को सर्वाइव कर जाएगा, लेकिन बाकी के जो प्लांट जिनको हम वीड कंसिडर करते हैं वो यहाँ पे सर्वाइव नहीं करेंगे। बट इससे थोड़ी ट्रबल ये हो सकती है दैट दिस ग्लाइफोसेट इटसेल्फ इज कार्सिनोजेनिक। मोर ओवर, अगर इसका अनचेक यूज करेंगे तो over a period of time there is always a resistance। जैसे बीटी के लिए भी there is a certain amount of adaptability which has happened in the bollworm, so similar kind of adaptability can happen in the weeds also, that may create super weeds in India. So that's the trouble with such kind of experimental things that we are doing now. Why are farmers using it? पहली बात, it saves the cost। करीब 7 से 8 हज़ार रुपए तक की पर एकड़ सेविंग एक फार्मर के लिए हो जाती है। क्यों? क्योंकि जो बेसिक बीटी कॉटन है उसके अंदर कम से कम 2 राउंड वीडिंग के करने पड़ते हैं, लेकिन इसमें आपको सिर्फ 1 राउंड ग्लाइफोसेट की स्प्रे करनी है और आपकी कॉटन तैयार है। मोर ओवर, साइंटिफिकली भी इसको सपोर्ट अवेलेबल है। वर्ल्ड हेल्थ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हैज ऑलरेडी अप्रूव्ड इट, एंड इट इज सेइंग दैट डज नॉट कॉज कैंसर, but at the same time there are certain issues related to HTBT cotton, and the government has withheld its approval for it. First off, as I told you already, so there is a genetic engineering appraisal committee, so which has to give it approval, and it's not yet there. Moreover, farmers are at a risk of such illegal cotton seed sale, because there is no accountability as far as the quality of seed, how much pollution it will cause to the environment, and the industry which is producing legitimate seal, उसको अपने revenues नहीं मिलेंगे, गवर्नमेंट को भी अपनी टैक्स रेवेन्यू में लॉस करना पड़ेगा। तो ये इसके नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट्स हैं, and it will not only decimate the small cotton seed company but also threaten the entire legal cotton seed market in India if it goes on expanding like this. So some action is definitely needed in this sphere, and HTBT cotton इसका जो या तो हमें जेनेटिकली जो इसको अप्रूव करना चाहिए, या फिर इसकी सेल के ऊपर बैन लगना चाहिए और ठीक से इन्फोर्स होना चाहिए। Now, a little bit more about the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. Like I said कि institutions बहुत बार न्यूज में रहते हैं और इनके बारे में भी आपको बेसिक्स पता होने चाहिए। So, it is basically functioning under the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and it's responsible for appraisal of activities involving large-scale use of hazardous microorganisms, recombinants in research and industrial production from the environmental angle. So this committee is also responsible for appraisal of proposals relating to release of genetically engineered organisms, okay, not just plants, organisms and products into the environment, including experimental field trials. तो इवन फील्ड ट्रायल के लिए भी आपको GEAC से एक बार अप्रूवल लेना पड़ेगा, okay. Now it is chaired by a special secretary or additional secretary to the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and is co-chaired by the representatives from Department of Biotechnology. So this organization is very important for your prelims as well. Okay, next one. World's first genetically modified rubber. So this has been created for our Northeast. As to why, we'll just look into it. So genetically modified rubber plant has been produced by Rubber Research Institute, so which is to be planted in Assam. Now, as far as Rubber Research Institute is concerned, it is under the Rubber Board. Okay, and Rubber Board itself is headquartered at Kottayam in Kerala. As you know, Kerala is one of the major rubber producing states. And as far as administrative aspect is concerned, so it is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and this board is responsible for the development of rubber industry in India and any other research, development, extension or training exercises related to it. सो एज फार एज जीएम रबड़ इज कंसर्न, इसमें अब क्या चेंज लाया गया है? अगर आप नेचुरल रबड़ की क्वालिटी देखेंगे तो इट इज नेटिव टू वार्म ह्यूमिड अमेजोन फॉरेस्ट एंड इट्स नॉट नेचुरली सुटेड फॉर द कोल्डर कंडीशंस दैट वी हैव इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट. So what we have done is there is an additional copy of gene MNSOD, that is manganese containing superoxide dimutase. Okay, so इसको प्लांट में इंसर्ट किया गया है. इससे बेसिकली होता क्या है? It is expected to tide over the severe cold conditions during the winter in the northeast. Basically, ये प्लांट को प्रोटेक्टिव कैपेबिलिटीज देता है ताकि कोल्ड और ड्राउट को ये झेल पाए. ठीक है. देन एज फार एज नेचुरल रबर इज कंसर्न, यू मे रिमेंबर दैट्स मेड फ्रॉम द लेटेक्स ऑफ Hevia brasiliensis. So this particular plant variety is cultivated mostly in temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, rainfall 200 centimeter, and rich well-drained soil, and wherever there is a cheap and adequate skilled labor available. So सबसे पहले अगर रबड़ की बात करें तो इंडिया में 1902 में ब्रिटिशर्स ने इसको हमारे यहाँ पे इंट्रोड्यूस किया था एज अ रबड़ प्लांटेशन in near river Periyar in Kerala. As of now, India is the sixth largest producer of rubber or natural rubber in the world, and it has one of the highest productivity as far as the productivity of rubber is concerned. And top rubber producing states are Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka. गवर्नमेंट के इसमें कुछ इनिशिएटिव चल रहे हैं जैसे कि रबर प्लांटेशन डेवलपमेंट स्कीम एंड रबर ग्रुप प्लांटिंग स्कीम. मोर ओवर इस सेक्टर में 100% एफडीआई गवर्नमेंट ने अलाउ किया है एट पार विद ऑल दी अदर प्लांटेशन इंडस्ट्री जस्ट एज रबर, कॉफी, टी, कार्डमम, पाम ऑयल ट्री एंड ऑलिव ऑयल ट्री. ओके, नाउ ग्लोबली अगर देखा जाए तो जो मेजर प्रोड्यूसर्स हैं रबर के लिए तो दैट इज थाईलैंड, इंडोनेशिया, मलेशिया, वियतनाम, चाइना एंड इंडिया. बट कंज्यूमर्स के लेवल पे देखेंगे तो चाइना और इंडिया, यूएसए, ये तीन सबसे बड़े कंज्यूमर्स हैं. ओके, नाउ इंडिया ने मार्च 2019 के अंदर देयर वाज अ नेशनल रबर पॉलिसी दैट वाज ब्रॉट आउट बाय द डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ कॉमर्स. नाउ दिस पॉलिसी बेसिकली is to provide a support architecture for natural rubber. Okay, जेनेटिकली मॉडिफाइड रबर का इसमें इतना प्रावधान नहीं था, लेकिन अब धीरे धीरे हम उसको डेवलप कर रहे हैं बिकॉज इट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ आवर लॉन्ग टर्म स्ट्रेटजी टू मिटिगेट एनी प्रॉब्लम्स फेस्ड बाय द रबर ग्रोवर्स इन द कंट्री. Okay, so presently the development and research activities supporting the natural rubber sector for welfare of all the growers has been brought under one particular rubber board, and it is implementing the scheme called Sustainable and Inclusive Development of Natural Rubber Sector. And this scheme will be helpful in creating training, skill development, and quality planting material, and everything will be made available to this rubber growers. One thing that you need to be sure of why they are now developing it in Northeast is, see, Northeast is an area where almost even today 70% of people are involved in agriculture. Now, that being said, the contribution towards agricultural GDP is very low in the Northeast, and we would want them to prosper. So that's why this is another kind of plantation industry that we are trying to build in the Northeast. So that's why a GM rubber plant was developed specifically for the Northeast by the Rubber Board or Rubber Research Institute. Okay, now moving on to the next current affair, nutrient loss in wheat and rice. तो जैसे कहते हैं ना कि आजकल की फसलों में खाने में वो बात नहीं रही, तो वाकई में वो सही है. उसका कारण क्या है? सो रिसेंटली the Indian Council of Agricultural Research and Bidhan Chandra Krishi Vishwavidyalaya. So they have done a research and found that the zinc and iron in rice and wheat is depleting. So they did a test wherein they found that it has almost, from 1960s to 2000s. So over a long period of time, if you see it, so zinc and iron have depleted from 27 to 20 and 59 to 43 mg per kg in rice. And similarly, in wheat also there is a depletion noted. You don't need to remember the exact depletion. You need to know why it has happened. So the reason is dilution effect. क्या होता है कि हम ग्रेन ज्यादा ले रहे हैं, हायर ग्रेन यील्ड ले रहे हैं, लेकिन जो सॉयल है और जो प्लांट की न्यूट्रिएंट अपटेक कैपेसिटी है वो उतनी ज्यादा नहीं बढ़ रही, तो हर ग्रेन में जो अमाउंट ऑफ न्यूट्रिएंट जा रहा है दैट इज गोइंग डाउन. ओके, so basically the rate of yield increase is not compensated by the rate of nutrient take up by the plant, and that's why this is happening. Okay, now for this the suggestion is that you cannot be, going on with the newly released varieties as far as rice and wheat is concerned, as far as the high yielding varieties are there. And what you can do is biofortification. So under biofortification you will be essentially, a little bit changes will be done in the crop itself, so that it will be taking up more zinc, more iron, more protein, and that kind of things will be induced in the plant. As far as biofortification is concerned, some basics. So it is a process by which the nutritional quality of food crop is improved. Now, recently, the Prime Minister has dedicated 17 biofortified varieties of 8 crops to the nation. So rice, wheat, and maize, these are the major. अब इसमें आपने प्रीलिम्स के लिए याद रखना है कि देर इज अ राइस CR धान 315, HI 1633, एंड मेज के अंदर देर आर हाइब्रिड वैरायटीज HP 1, 2 एंड 3. ओके, तो वो आपको प्रीलिम्स में ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन डाल सकता है कि व्हाट इज दिस CR धान HI 1633. ओके, सो दे आर बेसिकली बायोफोर्टिफाइड वैरायटीज ऑफ राइस एंड व्हीट, ये याद रखना. ठीक है, इसी तरह से देर इज मधुबन गाजर, दैट्स अनदर वन दैट मस्ट बी रिमेंबर्ड फॉर प्रीलिम्स. So this is a biofortified carrot which will produce higher amount of beta carotene and iron. Okay, so for this, the Indian Council of Agriculture Research has also started a program called NARI, that means Nutri Sensitive Agricultural Resource and Innovations. So they are basically promoting family farming and linking agriculture to nutrition. So they will be creating certain nutri-smart villages which will be promoted under the scheme and for enhancing the nutritional security. And location specific nutrition garden models are being produced under this particular scheme. Okay, so over a period of time, this biofortified crops will be upscaled and they will be linked to government programs like midday meals and all. Right now, fortified rice is being used in midday meal programs, and FSSAI has been told to improve that. FCI has been told to procure it. So all these things are already going on at the government level. But that fortification is basically artificial in nature. Biofortification will be natural. Okay. Next is the Biotech-KISAN Programme. So this is the program under the Ministry of Science and Technology, and it has issued a special call for the Northeast region as a part of its mission program, that is Biotech Krishi Innovation Science Application Network. So it's basically a lab to land kind of an initiative as envisioned by our great agricultural scientist, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan. Okay, so this is basically a scientist farmer partnership scheme which was launched in 2017. So it's a pan India program following a hub and spoke model which stimulates the entrepreneurship and innovation in the farmers and empowers women farmers. So what is happening here is, so under the Department of Biotechnology and Ministry of Science and Technology, so they are basically trying to improve the connect between the laboratory solutions or innovations in the agriculture with whatever practices are being made at the farm level. So the progress of this has been remarkable. So presently 146 Biotech-KISAN hubs have been established, covering all the 15 agroclimatic zones and 110 aspirational districts in the country. Okay, and the scheme presently benefits over 2 lakh farmers and over 200 entrepreneurs over the rural areas. So As far as the Northeast region is concerned, like we discussed earlier also, so 70% of the workforce is engaged in agriculture in Northeast, but nearly 1.5% of the country's food grain is produced by them, and they remain a net importer of food grain even for the regional consumption. So therefore, we have a lot of untapped potential in the Northeast region, and that's why, just like we talked about the genetically modified rubber, so we want Biotech-KISAN hubs to be established there in Northeast as well. Next is Biotech Pride. So Pride here basically stands for promotion of research and innovation through data exchange. So इस पे आपका सीधा सीधा क्वेश्चन डेटा एक्सचेंज के साथ रिलेटेड आ सकता है. So the guidelines for which have been recently released by Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Tech. So for this, a website that is Indian Biological Data Center was also launched. So what is basically being done is all the data that is being generated out of various experiments that they do in the agricultural field, in the innovation, they are trying to collect that data and make a national repository. Based on that biological knowledge, information, and data, they are creating that something called biogrid. And this biogrid will act as a bridge between the data centers and the ones utilizing them. They will also create certain standards for this data and modalities for accessing it. Over a period of time, this database will help in creation of better varieties of seeds, in creation of better services for our farmers, and improve the forward backward linkages in agriculture. Presently, India ranks number 4 amongst top 20 countries in contributing to the biological database. So that is something called Biotech Pride. Okay. Next one in the current affair is bioremediation mechanism for oil spills. So National Institute of Ocean Technology, so at Chennai, so it has developed an eco-friendly crude oil bioremediation mechanism, and it has used microbes and a wheat bran to deal with the oil spills. If you remember, earlier in 2011, BP oil spill happened, that is the British Petroleum, and for this they used something called a device called oil zapper. And this oil zapper was asked in the 2011 UPSC prelims paper. So right now, with respect to that oil spills, the bioremediation has been in use where microorganisms will be basically breaking down the oil and then make that a particular area environmentally sustainable again. Next is CRISPR technology. So recently, the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for 2020 has been given to Emmanuel and Jennifer, both from France and Germany. So this is for CRISPR technology that they developed in 2012. Okay. Now, what is CRISPR? You must always already remember and know that. So CRISPR is basically clustered regularly interspaced short palindromic repeats. So this is a Cas9 or CRISPR associated protein 9, and it's basically a gene editing tool. आप क्या कर सकते हैं कि डीएनए को कहीं से भी काट के और कहीं के और उसको यूज कर सकते हैं. वेरी सिंपल. इट्स लाइक अ मॉलिक्यूलर सिजर. Okay. So using the components of CRISPR system, researchers can add, remove, or even alter specific portions of DNA. Okay, and this will be a impact creating technology on biology, medicine, and agriculture. Presently in India, the status of this technology and biological modification is being taken into care by the Environmental Protection Act 1986, under which we have rules for the manufacture, use, import, export, and storage of hazardous microorganisms and genetically engineered organisms or cells in 1989. So these rules were basically made to regulate the genetically modified organisms under the Environmental Protection Act. Also, we have national ethical guidelines for biomedical health research involving human participants in 2017. So, this particular guidelines were issued by the Indian Council of Medical Research and the Biomedical and Health Research Regulation Bill, which is basically for regulation of gene editing process. Okay. Next is the Nobel Prize for Physiology and Medicine 2020. So that's for the discovery of Hepatitis C virus. Now, this was done in 1982 by Michael Houghton, Harvey J. Alter, and Charles M. Rice. So they screened millions of DNA samples and finally discovered it. So that's where it is for. You might be confused by UPSC here. They might ask you something on COVID-19 vaccine, something like that. Just try to confuse you in that, but it's for hepatitis C virus, not for coronavirus. Okay. Then BBX11 gene, so it is related to greening of plants. So recently, the Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research, it has recognized the particular gene which is responsible for the green coloration in the plants, which facilitates the green color. So it's BBX11, and it basically is responsible for regulating the amount of protochlorophyllite, which is the responsible agent for the creation of the green color. Okay, so just remember BBX11 and what is it responsible for. Next, Global Bio India 2021. So recently, this is the second edition of Global Bio India that has been held at New Delhi by the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. अब ध्यान रहे यहाँ पे डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है, ठीक है. Now it showcased the strength and opportunity of India's biotechnology sector at the national level, and it also unveiled the national biotechnology strategy. So this was a virtual event, and it was the exhibition of Global Bio India at the occasion. Okay, so remember the ministry involved and what is it for. Okay, next, Chimera Research, so human cells in monkey embryos. So basically, let's first try and understand what are chimeras. So chimeras are organisms that are made up of cells of two distinct species. अलग-अलग species हैं. In this case, human and monkey. इससे पहले उन्होंने पिग के साथ ट्राई किया था, लेकिन वो ज़्यादा चला नहीं. So human and monkey, because they are genetically more related as compared to pigs, so this was a bit more successful. So this is done by the Salk Institute of Biological Studies in US, and they have created the first time grown a human cell in monkey embryo. Now this embryo can be was taken from the macaque monkey, and this chimeric tool is basically created now. What is the use of such research? It will help us in understanding human development and drug evaluation, and basically address the critical need for organ transplants. Okay, and provide a new platform for study of disease. So what are the Indian laws with respect to this? So in India, the production of hybrid animals has been banned since 1985. Okay, so genetically modified organisms, so they are subject to the rules for the manufacture, use, import, export, storage, and of the hazardous microorganisms and genetically engineered organisms or cells, as we just discussed. And this is under the Environment Protection Act 1986. So these rules, they are implemented by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, by the Department of Biotechnology, and the state governments through 6 competent authorities. So these rules are supported by a series of guidelines in various different segments, maybe food safety, maybe biologics, maybe field trials, and so on, so as to limit as much as possible any such hazard. Okay. Next is the National Bio Entrepreneurship Competition. So this is launched by the Department of Biotechnology, and it's the 5th edition of the National Bio Entrepreneurship Competition. The first time it was done was in 2017, and it's India's largest and most prestigious national competition. They give a huge reward of something about 8 crore rupees to the winner. So what it does is it's basically an annual competition where all the recent innovators or entrepreneurs in biotechnology fields, they come together to showcase what's being done by them. Okay, so NBEC is conducted as a part of Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council Regional Entrepreneurship Center, and this is established at the Center for Cellular and Micro Molecular Platforms, that is CSAM, in partnership with BIRAC. Now, next one is the Nano Urea liquid, and this has been developed by IFFCO. IFFCO basically stands for Indian Farmers Fertilizer Cooperative Limited, and this is the world's first Nano Urea liquid, which is now available for the farmers across the world, which can be bought. So essentially, from the normal urea, what is the difference? So it is developed to replace the conventional urea and can curtail the requirement of the same by at least 50%. If you remember, India is still dependent upon imports with respect to urea. So it will help in cutting down those imports as well. Now, conventional urea, it's effective 30 to 40% in delivering nitrogen to plant, while nano urea will be 80% effective. So this has been indigenously developed at the Nano Biotechnology Research Center at Kalol in Gujarat, in line with the Atmanirbhar Bharat and Atmanirbhar Krishi. So as far as the institution IFFCO is concerned, a little bit about that. So it is India's one of the India's biggest cooperative societies, and it's wholly owned by Indian cooperatives. It was founded in 1967. उस टाइम पे सिर्फ 57 cooperatives थे. अभी करीब 36,000 cooperatives उसका part and parcel हैं. Okay, and they are from general insurance to rural telecom, सब तरह के अलग अलग areas के जो लोग हैं वो इसके साथ जुड़े हुए हैं. And their core business is manufacturing and selling of fertilizers. Okay, objective is basically high quality inputs for agriculture, so जो farmers को मिलते रहें. So one of the things that they have produced right now is the nano urea. नाउ स्कीम्स पर आ जाते हैं. तो बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के साथ रिलेटेड जो डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी है उसके ईयर एंड रिव्यू से हमें प्रीलिम्स के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट स्कीम्स मिल जाती हैं. तो कौन कौन सी हैं, लेट्स लुक एट देम. फर्स्ट इज उन्नति अटल जय अनुसंधान मिशन प्रोग्राम. So this is again, in all these schemes are implemented by DBT itself. Major focus सबका almost एक जैसा ही है, but slight differences are there. So this is for improved agriculture, affordable healthcare, clean energy and cutting edge frontier science as per the details given below. तो ये जो अब इसके components हैं, they are here. So one first is GARBH-ini, so that is interdisciplinary group for advanced research in birth outcomes. So this is a DBT India Initiative study. So within this is basically trying to create a solution for affordable healthcare unit. Okay, so let's see. So it aims to discover the molecular risk markers and generate risk prediction algorithm for preterm birth, which will facilitate timely referral and care for at-risk mothers, thus saving children's lives and reducing morbidity. So the GARBH-ini platform basically comprises of a biorepository, Rakshita, of well-characterized clinical phenotypes. So basically this is the data which will help us in determining all those children who are at risk. Then next is the antimicrobial resistance mission. So this is also for the improvement of health. So it will focus on development of new antibiotics, alternatives to antibiotics and diagnostics. So it will also try and address India's antimicrobial resistance with holistic and multi-sectoral approach. So that is India's One Health initiative to combat the problems associated with AMR. Okay. Then there is INDC mission. So this is an India-centric collaborative mission of DBT aligned to the global initiatives of CP, that is Coalition of Endemic Preparedness Innovation. So after COVID-19, this has become even more aggressive. So DBT, that is Department of Biotechnology, is supporting implementation of this mission, epidemic preparedness through rapid vaccine development. And through this only, our vaccine development has been done at a very fast pace. Next is the Unnati mission. So this is for clean technologies for Swachh Bharat, which are being developed under this mission. And the Department of Biotechnology has developed various technology platforms for solid, liquid, and gaseous wastes. And they have been converted into renewable fuel, energy, and useful products such as food, feed, polymers, and chemicals. Okay. So under this mission, 10 programs have been created for 10 promising clean technologies. So the identified technologies include biomethanation, then constructed wetland, biotoilet, chemical and membrane-free water purification, and so on. Next is Mission COVID Suraksha. So this is an India's targeted effort to enable development of indigenous, affordable, and accessible vaccines for the country, and will complement the ongoing, Atmanirbhar Bharat mission. Then there is partnerships for accelerating clinical trials. So for COVID-19, clinical trials were accelerated only then the vaccine could be developed at a fast pace. So this has initiative is being implemented by BIRAC, that is Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, okay, and Clinical Development Services Agency (CDSA) under the aegis of National Biopharma Mission and Indc Epi Mission of DBT. Okay. Next is the National Biopharma Mission itself. So what is it doing? It is the first ever industry academia mission. So it aims at accelerating the discovery, research to early development of biopharmaceuticals. So Innovate in India, that is I3, empowering biotech entrepreneurs and accelerating inclusive innovation to accelerate biopharmaceutical development in India. So that's the mission under biopharma. So over a period of time, we would be wanting the academics to come up with the industry and then create a solution for biopharma. Next, unique methods of management of inherited disorders initiative. So that is UMEED initiative. So this is to tackle the inherited genetic diseases in newborns. So for that, they will be creating solutions. Okay. Then next is the Pan India Genome India. So Genome India is basically as a catalog of the genetic variations in the Indian population with a goal of whole genome sequencing and subsequent data analysis of about 10,000 individuals representing country's diverse population. So they will be taking up people from various places, from various diverse regions. So they will be then taking up their genome sequencing, and this will create a overall pan India Genome India. So this will be helpful in your drug discovery mechanisms, vaccine studies, and so on. Then there is a Lotus HR project. So this is in collaboration with Netherlands. So it's a toolbox for wastewater treatment technologies, which has been established on the site at Barapulla Drain to facilitate the selection of treatment combinations for optimum treatment of wastewater. So that is the Lotus HR project. Next is the India Bioresource Information Network, IBIN. So herein, the Department of Biotechnology has created to bring together all the available database and information on bioresources and biodiversity of the country on one platform. So for this, the satellite telemetry tracking of Jacobin cuckoo. So that is also made a part of the IBIN project in collaboration with the Wildlife Institute of India to monitor the changes in Indian monsoon pattern and could help in planning the conservation and climate monitoring programs. So that is Indian Bioresource Information Network. Okay. Next is the Indian Biological Data Center. So again, DBT is trying to create a depository for all the biological data that is generated in the country. Maybe it is at the agricultural level, maybe it is at the livestock level, maybe it is at the microbial level or human level. So all this data can then be used for studying what kind of medicines, what kind of health interventions, environmental interventions can be done. So this will ensure that we are able to utilize data for experimental research to be conducted in the country. And if you remember, for this we all even had you know a bill coming up in the parliament, but that's still in the limbo. Then next is Geno Vault. So this is basically a cloud-based genomic repository and was launched in the Accelerating Biology 2020 mission. So this cloud-based genomic repository enables quick archive and retrieval tools along with the extremely powerful analytical engine. So it is India's first genomic repository based on OpenStack Cloud, and this centralized repository would be of enormous importance for healthcare and would have great use in the personalized medicine as well. Okay. Now, next one is the biotech liposome mediated CRISPR Cas9 delivery system. So this is a novel bio-inspired lipid nanocarrier system for efficient intracellular delivery of CRISPR-Cas9 based genome editing tool. So this has been developed by Department of Biotechnology. So using this, what can be done? So you would be able to carry out novel gene therapy, and based on that, you will be able to create therapeutic solutions for various rare and genetic diseases. Okay. Next is Biotech-KISAN. So this we have already discussed. So we will be establishing the uh, innovation centers in the 15 agroclimatic zones. So they have already been established, and they will be able to ensure the lab to land in India. Okay. Then international cooperation of DBT. So the Department of Biotechnology has strengthened its partnership with the Academy of Medical Sciences UK to launch AMS DBT Newton International Fellowship, NIF. So this will focus on the threats of climate change, and the department has collaborated with the European Union for Green Dal under the Horizon 2020 framework to help build a low carbon and climate resilient future. Next, Biotechnology Industry Research Assistant Council. So that's BIRAC. So that's an institution. So this has launched an I4, that is intensifying the impact of industrial innovation to support biotechnology products development by strengthening R&D capabilities. Okay. Next is wheat straw polysaccharide. So DBT National Food Biotechnology Institute, NABI. So it has developed something called wheat straw polysaccharide. What will it help? So it is derived novel edible coating formulation to prevent post-harvest shelf life of perishable fruits such as apple, peach, and banana. So presently we are using artificial waxing technology and all for preserving these the shelf life or increasing the shelf life of these fruits. So over a period of time, this wheat straw polysaccharide is still a better option. Okay. In addition to that, antibody-assisted graphene oxide-coated gold nanoparticles for rapid bacterial detection and near-infrared light-enhanced antibacterial activity has been developed, which detects food-borne pathogens. So basically, in days like COVID, you want to be able to assess whether a particular pathogen is there on a particular food or not. So for this will be really helpful. So remember all these technologies, they're very important for your prelims. Next, DBT National Research Institute. So this is carrying out research on Japanese encephalitis virus. It is also working on DALI, so very important for this year's prelims. So it's a tool in Indian languages for dyslexia assessment in children, and it's developed by NBRC, and it remains in high demand and is being increasingly adopted countrywide. Okay. Next is Brahma and Ansh. So NBRC scientists, they have developed a specialized tool named Brahma and Ansh for integrating inputs from neuroimaging data and clinical information to help in diagnosis of various brain disease such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. This tool is now being standardized on a robust Indian brain template. तो हमारे भारतीय ब्रेन किस तरह के हमारे पॉपुलेशन स्पेसिफिक ब्रेन एनाटॉमी को इन्होंने टारगेट किया है, तो उसके बेसिस पे दे विल बी डेवलपिंग ऑल दीस. Okay, so that's it for your biotechnology section. So we'll be coming up for new videos in other sections of current affair update also for all the subjects. Maybe it's economy, maybe it's polity and everything like that. So make sure you keep in touch with the channel. Thank you so much. All the best for your UPSC prelims.